Hello everybody, this is US Gamer's senior editor Bob Mackey, here to play a little Uncharted 4, but first please watch this cutscene.
What are the satellites saying, Victor?
Right now, not a goddamn thing. I've lost the signal.
Hey, you know what never loses signal? Paper. Alright, this route right here should take us straight to the volcano. Might get a little bumpy, though. Let's get the show on the road.
So that should be our only cutscene in this demo, and the reason I'm showing this off is because recently I was invited to play 15 whole minutes of Uncharted 4, was flown to LA. Those are just the kind of things that happen in the gaming industry, but I walked away pretty impressed. I don't consider myself an Uncharted fan. I usually would. I found the games a little too simple. I like games with a lot of character customization, and not every game has to be like that. But that's just what I prefer. But I did like just how good this game felt to play, and it's been almost 5 years since the last Uncharted game, so they've had a lot of time to think. Naughty Dog, they've had a lot of time to think about what the next Uncharted game should be, and it really feels like they've made some big steps with this game. And I didn't play Uncharted 3, so apologies if I'm getting some of this wrong, but I don't remember there being as much of a focus on vehicles in the Uncharted series. Maybe there were some vehicle segments, but this whole demo that I played is a lot of it, I would say most of it really, is about exploring with the Jeep. Using the Jeep to solve some basic environmental puzzles. I was not expecting that going into the demo. Like I really think about Uncharted as, these harrowing, either these harrowing Prince of Persia segments, or, the classic, very, very greatly designed, gunfights. So there's a lot of emphasis on exploration here, and even though you were kind of being guided in some subtle ways by the map's design, it does feel like you have some room to get out and stretch your legs, get out and look in nooks and crannies for treasure. And I don't know, I had a lot of fun driving around this whole area and just soaking in this great atmosphere.
That bridge there is what you would call rickety. This looks promising.
And I should say, again, I don't associate Uncharted with driving or like driving cars in this kind of a game, but the Jeep that you drive, it feels so great. Like it really feels like you're driving on the terrain that you're driving on. Like when you're driving on mud, it feels like your car's about to slip and fishtail and go crazy. When you're scaling rocks, it does feel like you're about to capsize at any moment, if a car can be capsized. I'm not sure if that can happen, but it just, again, I don't come to Uncharted for good driving mechanics, but the physics model or whatever they're doing with this Jeep, it just feels great to drive around in. And I hope the driving sequences aren't just limited to this area, because I had a lot of fun just driving around and seeing the sights.
Easy. Getting nowhere fast. Okay, I think I'm getting the hang of this.
As you can see, a lot of this driving over treacherous terrain really involves finding the kind of terrain that can give you the most traction, and then driving on it, like those rocks, for example. I did use those to climb up that little incline. And again, it's a Naughty Dog game, so it's going to be beautiful, and it's made for the PS4, so they can fully tap into the power of that system. So I'm super impressed by just visually what I'm looking at here. And when I was playing at the demo, everything went off without a hitch. Unfortunately, my capture equipment failed me the first 2 times, but that let me play through this demo 3 times. And even though the driving was mostly the same, the actual gunfights, those let me approach them in 3 different ways, which I found very satisfying. I did a stealth method the first time, I did sniping the second time, and I believe this is the time where I just go in guns blazing. So we're going to see some gunfights pretty soon after this basic environmental traversal section, which, again, pretty fun. I went to this demo expecting a lot of gunfights, but there's just one in this small section we're going to look at today.
Whoops.
And I should note that the car is equipped with a winch, and that actually comes up in a few of these puzzles later in this section, in which you'll use the winch to pull things down. You'll use the winch to pull yourself towards things. It's just one extra step in making the Jeep feel like more than just padding, because it could easily just be drive from point A to point B. But you have to use your brain a little more than that, which I appreciate. And of course, there's always like the slinking around these corners that were unfit for man and car, like kind of one of those hold your breath moments.
Why exactly?
Which I think is what Uncharted really bases itself around, those kind of like, oh god, is this really happening and how am I going to survive?
He helped them disappear. I mean, the guy clearly had a knack for hiding things.
So again, we're climbing up these hills. We're choosing the rockiest path to get our sturdy little Jeep up the inclines, and as you can see, it's got some great shocks too. Although Sully complains about his spine a lot in this section, so maybe they're not so great.
Let's go check out that tower.
I'll come with.
So we're gonna see Nathan Drake. He's gonna investigate a little area up here, and then we're gonna actually use the winch to pull the Jeep up this incline because there's no way it can make it up on its own. So we're actually gonna use that winch in a minute here, but before that, we're gonna find some interesting artifacts.
Sam, look.
That's Christopher Condon's sigil. He's captain of the Fiery Dragon, operated out of Madagascar around Avery's time. So maybe Avery recruits pirate captains to, what, be his lookouts? That don't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Well, maybe each captain was responsible for a tower.
Nathan is looking for a pirate's lost treasure, in case you didn't know the plot of Uncharted 4. Every Uncharted game is typically about some big score.
Big plans for this winch.
Although I don't follow the Uncharted timeline, but I'm wondering why Nathan needs to keep stealing. Shouldn't the treasure from Uncharted 1, shouldn't that have kept him in solid gold houses and rocket cars for the time being? I don't know.
There. That ought to do it.
So we just used the winch, and I really like that you literally have to loop it around with your character. There's no just like context button to do it automatically. It gives it more of a feeling of physicality, which again is what makes the Jeep driving feel so great. It really feels like you're driving in these impassable terrains, these impassable landscapes.
See, Sully? Winch. Totally worth it.
We cleared a hill.
And you also have to detach the winch cable,
Yeah.
and it kind of snaps in like a measuring tape, which I find very satisfying. I like it. Although you don't want to get hit with that thing if it's coming back. So pretty soon we're going to run into combat. It's a fairly brief section. Again, they really put an emphasis on driving with this demo, and yes, it's glorious, it's beautiful. I assume that mountain is not a JPEG floating behind everything else.
A well-to-do pirate far away from your oppressive government.
Oh, poor oppressed pirates. All they wanted to do was to murder and pillage in peace.
No, they wanted to live as free men.
Well, if you're gonna pick a place to run away from society, you could do a lot worse than here.
So yeah, we're tracking down some lost pirate treasure. Obviously, there's going to be thousands of other dudes who want it and who want to kill us for it, and we have to kill them first. And we're gonna stumble into one of their little bases in a second here. But until then, it's more slippery driving.
Cut back across the Atlantic to South Africa, and they figured all that out with paper, charts, and by looking at the stars.
Hey, you're describing sailing to a former squid.
The point is, we got it pretty easy.
Yeah, well, still taking a long time.
How would you look at that?
Oh, shit! Stop!
So we're coming up upon our first and only action sequence that's not involving driving in this demo. And again, if you played an Uncharted game, this should all come second nature to you. I mean,
These guys?
the Uncharted games are really built around some super solid combat, which I like. The fact that you can't customize Drake that much, I don't care for that much, but not every game has to be like that, and I can appreciate that at least. But these action scenes feel really good. There's many ways to approach them. As I said before, I tried 3 different ways to fight these guys, and every way worked out for me. But it brought its own challenges, its own strengths, I guess.
Follow my lead.
So we're gonna see how I handle these guys. Hopefully, it won't be too embarrassing. I didn't die, so I can at least say that I didn't die in this section. This time, I did decide to ram them with my car, though. Previously, I believe I snapped their necks. Did a whole solid snake on them. And yeah, so your classic Uncharted combat. You can probably tell by this I haven't played an Uncharted game in a while, but again, I didn't die, so I at least have that going for me. And it's all about prioritizing the enemies that are the most deadly. I think I made a point to kill the snipers pretty quickly. Although it's very fun to get the drop on the enemy, there's lots of ways to sneak up on them, to go behind them. It's not all about cover-based stuff, although cover-based shooting is a staple of Uncharted, but a lot of it is like, oh, how can I get over there before they see me, or how can I sneak behind this guy? There's lots of ways to approach combat, and I find that great. And there's like little environmental traps like that dynamite plunger I just set off. And, I mean, while you do murder so many people in Uncharted, they just kind of slump to the ground like flawless mannequins, which is, again, video game violence. It's fun for everybody. Although I don't know if this game is rated T for teen. I would suppose it isn't because of the blood, but, who knows? Maybe these are all rubber bullets and the enemies get up when Drake leaves the area. So yeah, you can see I'm trying to get a beat on this sniper. They can really mess you up with one or two hits, so it's a good idea to get rid of them.
I think that's it.
Damn it, Rafe and Nadine must
So an interesting thing about this little action scene is the first time I played it, maybe I wasn't doing so good, but I met a certain condition in which they brought a truckload of new enemies to the area as I reached the top of this little tower thingy. So I'm not sure what triggered that, but battles can go in different ways depending on your actions. Like again, I'm not sure if I got rid of them too fast. Maybe I let a few soldiers linger and they managed to you know, call phone into base or whatever. But something happened which brought new enemies to me, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like the fact that these battle scenarios can have different options, can have different outcomes, is pretty neat. And I'm wondering how much that'll play through the rest of the game. If that'll just be limited to a few set pieces like this, or if it'll be, you know, applying to almost every action set piece. Just little things that can happen differently every time. And we're nearly at the end of our demo, but we're going to see just the way that the winch can be used to solve these environmental puzzles, which are really neat. And again, not too complicated, but Uncharted, the pacing of Uncharted never wants you to linger too long on one activity. I think that's the value of these games. While they can be more complicated, they're really just about sort of like they're kind of like a popcorn video game experience. Everything is very fast and snappy, and you're always moving between different activities and always seeing something new. And as you can see, we're going to use the power of physics to just yank this bridge down and build a little build a little ramp for ourselves.
Come on! Again with the winch, Sully. Pretty handy, right?
I wasn't against getting the winch. I was against getting ripped off.
So yeah, we got a little more driving. That was the last action sequence. We are going to see a tiny bit more driving before we got to cut off the feed here. But yeah, it's a nice little slice of Uncharted. I assumed I'd be playing more since I had to fly out to play it. But hey, you know what? I'm getting to show you this this cool slice of the game, and I got to play it, so I'm not complaining.
I was thinking maybe you can contact her, convince her to call off her goons.
Yeah, right.
What if we promise her a bigger cut than Rafe?
And I'm sure that if I got out to explore in these areas, I would get a chance to maybe find some treasures, but I was really just trying to get to the end. And we've reached the end of our little demo here. Thanks so much for joining me. Uncharted is coming out soon. Stay tuned to usgamer.net for more coverage. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, of course, to see more great videos like this. And I will catch you guys later. Have a good one.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, Sam, if you don't mind me asking, how'd you pass the time in prison?
Reading, mostly. There was just one guard saw me as a charity case, I guess. He had to check out books from the library for me.
So what'd you read?
History, especially anything related to Avery and other pirates. Just in case,
Sure.
But, besides books, push-ups, smoking, trying to stay out of fights between rival gangs, just a whole lot of thinking. That's pretty much it.
Sam, if you had a guard doing you favors, why didn't you use him to get word to us?
Oh, I tried. I asked him to mail a letter. To your P.O. box.
I never got it.
Well, that would be because the warden saw it. I got busted up pretty bad and never saw that guard again.